Well, hello there, my silly little gooses. Welcome back to another edition of the Midweek Breakdown, presented by My Two Cents Podcast and hosted by G2. I am G2. For the first time listeners, I would like to say hello to you and like to tell you what this show is all about. The Midweek Breakdown is when I, G2, talk to you guys about any and everything for 10, 15, 20 minutes. And certain episodes will be serious episodes, certain episodes won't be so serious, certain episodes will be covering a variety of different topics, while other episodes will be talking about one specific topic, which will be the theme of said episode. But always at the end of every Midweek Breakdown episode, I'll be playing you guys a song, which is titled your Song of the Week, to end the episode off and send everybody about their way. So for the first time listeners, that's what the Midweek Breakdown consists of. So I'd like to say, tell you what this whole show is all about, first and foremost, and say, happy to have you guys listen to the show, but also to the returning listeners, I also want to say thank you for tuning back into the program as well. Didn't want to leave you guys out. So, with that being said, let's jump into today, and today I'm going to talk about a variety of topics. First one, I want to give an update on someone that passed a couple weeks ago, and it was the actress Daveigh Chase. That was the woman that voiced Lilo in the Lilo & Stitch movie and was the little girl in the ring. Her cause of death has been announced. It was announced Monday that she had passed away from AIDS. They're saying that was the primary cause of her passing. Other things that she was also listed for to have passed from was using different substances. Now, in her passing, whenever we heard about her passing at the age of 35, we already knew that she already had a time on this earth using substances, using drugs. So the coming out of the health report saying that she died from different drugs that was in the system or having used different drugs, that wasn't surprising to me. I think what was going to catch everyone by surprise was her having AIDS. I think that was the thing that probably would catch everyone by surprise, because again, I don't think no one expected that. But yes, the actress Daveigh Chase, she passed away because of AIDS and because of drugs that were still in her body. So again, man, someone passing away at 35, sad shame. And again, people in Hollywood, I really do mean this, whether you are stage parents or you have siblings that work in Hollywood, keep in touch with your kids. Make sure they're not doing anything. Make sure they're not getting into any type of drugs, because again, this actress right here, she got into drugs at a young age, and I don't believe anyone should be getting into any type of recreational drugs or anything of that nature at a young age, because again, Hollywood, you mess around with a couple of different things. Again, that's the stories going on in the Hollywood bubble. Whenever people talk about Hollywood, that's always a thing there. I want there to be more highlighted on that. I want there to be more precautions on that, especially again when we talk about kids, preteens, teens, and even coming into adulthood. Watch over these people, watch over just these actors and actresses and people that's trying to make it. Let this be a cautionary tale. That's all I will say. Just use her as a cautionary tale for anyone that's trying to go into the acting world and acting field. And rest in peace to Miss Chase. So that's an update that we do have here on her. Also, I don't have this on my list. I just want to say this to everyone out there. If you're over here in the United States and you're, I want to say close to the eastern side where you have the Northeast, which is your New York, Maine, Connecticut, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, all that type of stuff. And then if you're in the South, you're South Carolina, North Carolina, Georgia, Florida, Tennessee, all that area, it's going to be hot for the rest of the week. There's supposed to be a big heat wave that's flowing over here. I know over here in the South, you always get it right around the summertime anyway. We're used to the humidity, so I don't think that's going to come off as a big surprise to us. We're just going to feel much more added heat. So, I mean, I just kind of shrug my shoulders to that. But if you're in the North, North summers are kind of tricky. Sometimes it gets hot, sometimes it don't. Certain people have air conditioners in their homes, some don't. If you don't, I would say you probably want to invest in one and get one before the heat really starts popping off this upcoming weekend. Because remember, upcoming weekend this week is 4th of July weekend. So that means a lot of people are going to be traveling in, and if people are around, that means more heat is around. So that means that adds on to that heat that's flowing over. So again, if you don't have an air conditioner, either in your home that you can plug it into your window or central air, I would say you probably want to do that before everyone goes into these variety places and just nab them up. And also, give love and light to people over there in Europe. As I'm just thinking about it now, they are also dealing with a heat wave incident that's been going on. At least I want to say this is now, they had it last week, so now they're going into their second week of this, and they said that their death toll is in the upper of 1,300 and more. So give love, give light, give your prayers over, keep your mind and thoughts and prayers to the people over there in Europe. And again, from people in Europe, I would say invest in an AC unit, invest in some type of air conditioning spot, because again, it's kind of like I'm not going to say a trope, but it's kind of like a thing to know that people in Europe don't really have AC units or any type of central air like that. That's kind of been a thing. I'm hoping that's just something that's not true, but if it is, invest in it, because I don't want to see people just dying because of excessive heat that could ultimately at least be tempered down by going into a place that's AC. So again, that's just me just throwing it out there. This was not something on my list. I just thought about this right now, so yeah. Anyway, getting back to the other things I have to talk about. Restaurants. There's a restaurant in Florida that decided to sneak some type of venue fee. There was a story that went into an article that was from, let me get the magazine here. The New York Post, not the magazine, but the New York Post. Anyway, it was about a woman that was in Florida. She talked about how she went to a RO in Hyde Park. There's a restaurant there. Apparently, they tacked on a 3% fee surcharge, which is called a venue fee, that was not posted anywhere on his menu or his location. The woman posted about this on the news, and it got popular on a neighborhood app next door. And she would claim that the restaurant employees told her that they were following the likes of other hotspots nearby, as many places were adding similar charges. Well, apparently this upcoming week, Florida State will be enacting a law, which is SB 606, and during that law, it states that every public food service establishment that charges an operational charge or includes an automatic gratuity or service charge in the place of the meal shall include a notice on the food menu, written contract, and website or mobile application where food and beverage orders are placed. And additionally, all receipts and bills must have completely separate lines for gratuity, operation charges, and sales tax according to the law. So what it means is you can't just try to shock someone by adding that onto their bill. You have to have that written out, either, as I said, on the food menu, on the website, or the mobile app, something like that, if you're going to get food from that establishment. I have no problem with that being enacted. I have no problem with that being a law. As a matter of fact, that should be a law around the country, because I have a feeling that this venue fee. I have a feeling that's going to be enacted around the whole entire United States. Restaurants are trying to come up with money. Again, you have the tipping, which now they say is gratuity in certain places. You have other little charges that are put into your receipts as well. And now you have a venue fee charge. I think that's nasty. I think that's disgusting. I hope that this type of bill or law, state law, if you will go around the rest of the country and other states in this country. Because I don't want people to get surprised. I don't want people to be shocked by that, because people are already shocked by paying an enormous amount of money for going out to eat dinner already. But then you have, again, the gratuity charge that people just already put on your bill. And now with the venue fee, again, I can see other states doing that, and I'm hoping that, again, this law goes in place so people will know to at least try to avoid that restaurant if they try to go and add a venue fee for that or something of that case. Or if they decide to go there, they at least know that, hey, we're going to get popped for that, right? We're going to get popped for just going here and eating here, right? And people will say, okay, because if they got money like that to do it and they like the food, they'll still do it. But it's all about making sure people don't get surprised by what's added onto the bill. So I just want people to know that's something that's going down in Florida. So if you're in the Florida area, just know that they are adding venue fees. But by next week, you at least should know whether there's going to be a venue fee charge added there. You shouldn't be surprised. That's what I'm trying to get at with this. Moving on for that, still sticking in law, the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court had decided a couple decisions on Tuesday. They decided to strike down Trump's birthright law that Trump wanted to do. And what I mean by that, it was Trump was trying to remove birthright citizenship, and the Supreme Court was like, nah, we're keeping that. And the Supreme Court would allow, more specifically, West Virginia and Idaho to ban transgender athletes from participating in female sports teams. That was a rule for 6-3. So those are two cases that the Supreme Court did decide on. This is during their term now because their term is almost over with. So with this, one, again, I think when it comes down to transgender athletes participating in female sports, I think that's all on the females to decide if they want that to happen or not. And I'm talking about women that were born as a woman, identified as a woman. I think for them, it's up to them to decide if they want transgender women to want to be included in their team of activity. I think it's up to them because you got certain people that will be cool with it, certain people that won't. And again, that's not my battle to fight. That's all for women to fight for that. Do what you do. While the birthright citizenship, I'm happy that the Supreme Court did uphold that and decided to keep that instead of trying to strike that down and remove it. I'm happy about that because of this reason alone. Because it would have came back to bite many descendants of slaves in the butt, including myself and my family. It would have been essentially every black person in the butt here. And it would have tried to have the government try to have ICE and any other made up government facility or legislation or whatever the crap it is to try to come after us and try to get us out of the United States, even though we were taken out of a continent to come here. And again, you know the deal of America with black people, and you know the deal. So I'm glad that birthright citizenship is still enacted. And for people that don't know what birthright citizenship is you being born in the United States. And if you're born in the United States, you're a U.S. citizen. It doesn't matter whether your parents were born here or your parents weren't born here. As long as you were born here, you are a U.S. citizen. So that's what birthright citizenship is. So Trump was trying to remove that because, again, his whole deal is trying to get illegals out of here. And they're trying to say that immigrants, illegals come over here, they give birth, and they want to try to disqualify that because your parents aren't originally from here. Which, again, I think that is completely stupid. If your parents aren't from here, but they give birth to you, it doesn't matter about them not being here. I'm here. I'm an American citizen. You can't try to just send me back with my parents. It makes no sense. I'm a citizen here. But, again, that's what's been going down with Trump since he's been doing this, since he got into his office for his second term. So, again, that's what's going on. But this is what's also happening, too, by the way. The Justice Department has directed federal prosecutors to prioritize investigations of so-called birth tourism after the Supreme Court rejected Trump's attempt to restrict birthright citizenship. And they gave a definition for that. Birth tourism is the name authorities give the practice of parents traveling briefly to the United States to deliver children so that the child can obtain U.S. citizenship. I'm going to say this, that's pretty baller. I'm not going to lie to you. For your parent to try to just come here and just give birth to you so you can be a U.S. citizen, I think that's baller. I ain't going to lie to you. U.S., whether we know it or not, whether people in the U.S. know it or not, as a citizen, we know what happens here in this country. We know the positives and the negatives, and we get bogged down in a lot of the negatives. While people on the outside of the U.S., they might see the positive and negatives here, but they get bogged down more in the positives compared to how they have it over in their country. So that's the reason why they come over here and have their kids being born here. I'm going to say it's pretty baller. I'm not going to lie to you. With that mindset, it's pretty baller to want to come here just to have your kids be born. Again, they're trying to have a crackdown on that. Hey, good luck with you for that. But we'll wait and see how that goes about. But I just want to let you guys know what's going down with the Supreme Court, because I was just talking about laws with that. But also, Supreme Court is going to be looking into whenever in October, because that's whenever they're about to do their next term, going to be starting. It was said that they will be looking into the Second Amendment and whether that guarantees the rights to have AR-15 style rifles. In a brief order, the High Court agreed to take up a pair of cases challenging local and state laws outlawing AR-15s and semi-automatic rifles. One involved in an ordinance in Cook County, Illinois, and the other centers on Connecticut's laws. The justices will hear arguments in the cases in the next term, which begins in October. So in October, they'll be hearing about those cases. I'm going to be really keeping an eye out on that one, and I hope that the rest of the American people do as well, because when you think about, again, your school shootings or any type of big public shootings, is always having someone having like an AR-15 or a semi-automatic type of weapon with them. And I've always stated it. I don't know why, if you're on American soil, you need to have an AR-15 weapon or a semi-automatic. It just doesn't make sense to me. Those type of weapons are more designated, at least to me, more for people that's over in the war, across the sea, like that type of deal. When you're over here, I think a pistol or something like that can work if you want to keep a gun on you. That's fine, like a handgun, but not something that requires you to hold two hands. It just doesn't make sense to me. But hey, people might say they use it for the bar, they use it for this or that. I don't really mess around with guns, so who am I? But the Supreme Court will be looking into those laws and more than likely making a ruling probably by the end of this year. So we'll get more on that whenever they get into it, and that's by October. So that's all I have to say for the Supreme Court. And now, with my time fastly winding up, the last thing I do want to talk about is a news story that I was not aware of until my mother sent me this. It's 3 women that are being charged with the murder of Caroline Pina, and this happened last week. The 3 women, Kitty Diaz, Amaya Diaz, and Keandra Faz, who I'm just going to call Miss Faz in this. Those 3 women are accused of beating and stabbing Miss Pina to death during a fight outside of a Del Rio home. I said this happened last week. They would say Thursday afternoon. It was all captured on video. Miss Caroline Pina would arrive at Miss Faz's home, and then you see shortly after the Diaz sisters pulling up, they would confront Miss Caroline, and they would say in the footage you could see Amaya Diaz exiting out of her vehicle, approaching Caroline with what they believe to be a knife in her hand. And police will say that Amaya and Caroline got into an altercation, and that's when you saw Amaya strike Caroline in the back, where blood can be observed on the back of her shirt. And that's when Kitty Diaz began physically assaulting Caroline as well, and that's when Miss Faz joins in. The alleged attack was eventually broken up, police said, and the suspects left the area. All 3 were later arrested and taken to the police department for booking. So all 3 of them, as I said, is being charged with murder. Here's what I will say for this, because again, this was captured on video. Caroline Pina got arrested dead. She made a mistake here. And the mistake is coming over to someone's home. I don't know if this happened because something happened online or whatnot, but you don't ever drive up to someone's home. You get me? You don't drive over to someone's home and thinking someone's going to be fine if you have, like, if you want to meet up with them and talk with them about something, or there's going to be some type of altercation. You don't do that. Because there's an age discrepancy here. The Diaz sisters, Kitty Diaz is 21. Amaya Diaz, who did the stabbing, allegedly, is 19. Miss Faz is 21. While Caroline, she's 32. So there's an age gap here between the suspects and the victim here. And with the victim being 32, she should know, or should have had the better wherewithal not to drive over to someone's home. And again, I don't know what led to this. Again, this is all the information that we do have right now. They don't know, or they haven't at least released what led to Caroline going over to Mrs. Faz's home, driving over there. They haven't released anything of that nature because they don't know what the deal was. You don't just go over to someone's home like that. You don't. And again, I'm sad to report, and sad to have to let it be known that someone did die because of that. But we got to have some discernment. So, ladies and gentlemen, take this story as a warning. Don't go to someone's home if you're in a disagreement with them. Because, again, there's no motive to this. There is no backstory to this at all right now that has been reported. So I'm just going off of my own brain and my own thought. If you have a disagreement with them, whether it be online, in person, whatever the case may be, and you might know where this person lives, do not go to that person's home. Don't do it, because anything is liable to happen, and I don't want people to end up dying over something stupid. And this, to me, just seems that this was more than likely somebody died over something so stupid and trivial, to be honest with you. So again, when more information comes about, I'm hoping by this this Sunday, when I drop my Sunday episode to you guys, I have something more on this, possibly a motive, but we'll wait and see with that. Now, with that being said, my time has come up. This has been your midweek breakdown, and it's now time for me to move over to your song of the week. Song of the week for this week is by an artist by the name of Reuben, Vincent, and Knife Wonder. The song's titled Anything. I want everyone to enjoy the rest of their day. Enjoy the rest of your week. You will hear from me again with news on Sunday, and that's more long-form content, so go look forward to that when I drop my Sunday episode. But if you happen to watch or listen to professional wrestling, I do talk about that on my Thursday episode, Let's Have a Chat series, where I'll talk about anything in the world of professional wrestling my mind comes to. So that's tomorrow. And Saturday is more of a structured episode, the Wrestling Highlights of the Week, where I talk about everything that happened in this week's wrestling that showed up on air. So that's what to look forward to on this week's episode of Wrestling Highlights of the Week. So with that, that's everything that I have to promote. Again, I want everyone to enjoy the rest of their day. Don't be a dick. Be kind of courteous to everyone you do come across. And please, again, try to stay as cool as the best you can, alright? So with that, bye-bye now.
Hey, I ain't even trying to milk it, I'ma spoil you. I adore you, do anything for you. You want a nigga who gon' court you, tour you, flower just because you was loyal to the soil. You ain't a fan of the fuck niggas, don't really trust niggas. You don't even like to touch niggas. If love for crime, tell the feds I'm trying to cuff. Put a rock on your finger, you a diamond in the rough. What's your fantasy? Is it vanity, Van Cleef, retail therapy, needed for your sanity? Chanel, Fendi, Balenci, Alexander McQueen, or more Dior like you deep in Christianity? Or maybe none of that matters more than the family. A crib full of many yous and many me's. She in my ear like I don't think that you can handle me, but I can do it all, shawty. You can have anything, 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 anything. Shawty, you can have anything, 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 anything. Shawty, you can have anything, 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 anything. Shawty, you can have anything, 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 anything. Shawty, you can have anything. It's yours, 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 it's yours.